The U.S. Junior Amateur kicks off under scorching Texas skies, but something feels different. This isn't just another junior tournament. This is a pressure cooker, because today all eyes are locked on Charlie Woods. He steps to the tee under a flash of cameras, not as just another junior golfer, but as Tiger Woods' son, carrying a legacy that can barely fit in one swing. Media outlets like NBC Sports and Yahoo Sports have made it clear. This is more than a tournament debut. It's a test of pedigree and pressure. Each camera click is a reminder that expectations aren't just high, they're sky high. The hype machine has been working overtime. Charlie's qualifiers blew minds. Dominant AJGA win, playoff heroics, all signs that a new star might be born. Now, early afternoon in Dallas, he stands on the cusp of junior golf history. But here's the thing about expectations that big. They can crush you. A single misstep, one bad hole, and whispers of "Tiger's kid" turn into harsh criticism. NBC warns this is exactly the type of moment where pressure can fold a champion. And Yahoo paints the real picture. Tiger himself is there, spectating quietly, a silent scoreboard of hope and legacy. It's a father's proud presence, but also a weighing gaze. And when you combine Charlie's electrifying rise, AJGA, success, and clutch playoff with his family name, you've got a recipe for intense scrutiny. Now imagine the heavy silence right before his first swing. No crowd noise, no breathing room. Just the unknown. And what happened next? That's where the story veers off the expected path. Because no one, not the media, not the fans, not even his own father could have predicted how badly things would go. The first hole at Trinity Forest wasn't just a tee box, it was a pressure cooker. And Charlie Woods, he never quite escaped the steam. From the moment his first drive left the club face, something felt off. The crispness that carried him through Coral Springs qualifying, gone. The confidence from his AJGA win, missing. This wasn't the Charlie Woods people came to see. It was a version we hadn't seen before, one who seemed overwhelmed. That realization came fast and painfully. By the time Charlie made the turn, his scorecard was bleeding red, and not in the good way. +8 on the front 9, riddled with mistakes and misreads. 2 double bogeys on holes 3 and 7. Wild tee shots, shaky approaches, and missed putts that seemed routine just a month ago. He wasn't just falling behind, he was free-falling, and every hole felt steeper than the last. From contender to question mark in just 9 holes. The back 9 offered a brief glimpse of composure. Charlie notched 2 birdies on 11 and 16 moments that showed flashes of the player people hoped to see. But even those were buried between bogeys and more trouble. The rhythm never came. The nerves never left. He finished with a brutal 81-11 over par, tied for 242nd out of 264 players. The match play cut? 9 shots away and drifting further with every competitor still on the course. This wasn't a slump. This was a meltdown in real time. Commentators were stunned. NBC's broadcast team, cautiously optimistic at first, grew quiet as the round spiraled. Golf Monthly bluntly called it a difficult start. But let's be honest, this wasn't difficult, it was disastrous. Charlie Woods had walked in as a wild card with momentum. He walked off the 18th green with the weight of a name and a scoreboard that didn't lie. And the worst part? This wasn't pressure. This was collapse. You can tell a lot about a golfer by how they play under pressure. But if you really want the truth, look at the stats. And for Charlie Woods on the 21st of July, 2025, the numbers told a brutal story. Let's start with the basics. Fairways hit Charlie found just 3 out of 14. On a course like Trinity Forest, where placement is everything, that's not just a red flag, it's a siren. Drives were sprayed wide left and pushed out right, setting up recovery shots from thick grass and awkward lies. When you can't find the fairway, the round becomes a grind and Charlie was knee-deep in it. Then there's scrambling the art of saving par from missed greens, but art wasn't the word anyone was using. NBC analysts pointed out that Charlie converted just 1 of 6 up and down attempts, meaning when he missed the green, which was often, the damage followed. WFAA called it surprisingly flat, especially for a player with strong short game credentials from junior circuits. Every missed green added weight to a scorecard already breaking. And let's not sugarcoat it, putting was a disaster. 3 putts on 4 and 13, a missed 2-footer on 6. The confidence wasn't there, and neither was the touch. Even good tee shots turned into bogeys when the flat stick went cold. Then, the real headline, 4 double bogeys. 4. That's not just unlucky, that's unraveling under tournament pressure. And here's the dagger. The projected cut line for match play was sitting around even par. Charlie, plus 11. That's 9 shots behind, with only 1 round left to climb a mountain most seasoned players wouldn't even attempt. The numbers don't lie. They don't care who your father is. And they certainly didn't care about hype. This wasn't just a rough day, it was a statistical collapse that painted the same picture from every angle. The cameras may have been pointed at Charlie Woods, but all eyes in Dallas found themselves drifting to someone else, the man walking a few paces behind. Tiger Woods, 15-time major champion and one of the most iconic athletes of all time, stood quietly on the edge of the fairway, arms crossed, face unreadable. Not a word, not a nod, just silence. For those familiar with Tiger's appearances at his son's tournaments, the mood felt different. In previous events, AJGA stops, qualifiers, Tiger was visibly involved, whispering tips, gesturing encouragement, even sharing a laugh or two. But at the U.S. Junior Amateur on the 21st of July, 2025, there was none of that. No fist pumps, no smiles, just Tiger, tracking each shot like a hawk but never intervening. And when Charlie's round began to unravel, Tiger didn't flinch. Not when the 3rd double bogey fell. Not when Charlie missed a 3-footer. He simply watched. And that silence? It spoke volumes. Golf Channel analysts speculated on air that Tiger's quiet presence may have been intentional, a show of trust, or perhaps a decision to let Charlie stand on his own. But the body language told another story. Tension. Pressure. Maybe even frustration. After all, Tiger knows better than anyone how brutal this game can be and how public the pain becomes when you carry a famous name. Charlie wasn't just battling the course. He was playing under the watchful eyes of history and his own father. And perhaps that was the hardest part of all. Because when the round was over, Tiger gave no interview, no statement. He simply walked off with his son shoulder to shoulder, but with a silence that thundered through the tournament grounds. Sometimes, the biggest reaction is no reaction at all. And on this day, Tiger's silence echoed louder than any gallery roar. The question now is, how will Charlie respond next time the legend watches? 1 round left. That's all Charlie Woods has now. 18 holes to turn disaster into destiny. After an opening 81 plus 11, the math is brutal. To have any shot at match play, he needs a near-perfect round on day 2. And even that might not be enough. Golf Monthly put it bluntly, an uphill battle from here. But uphill doesn't begin to describe it. Charlie is 9 shots off the projected cut line, surrounded by 263 other players, many of whom are playing the best golf of their young careers. Trinity Forest is unforgiving, and so is tournament math. You don't climb out of a crater like this, you claw. Still, if there's one thing Charlie has shown, it's grit. Let's not forget Coral Springs, just last month, the qualifier where he was backed into a corner in a sudden death 3-for-1 playoff. He needed a birdie to advance. He delivered. That moment showed the world a glimpse of something special. A competitor who doesn't fold when the lights shine brightest. But this isn't Coral Springs. This is the U.S. Junior Amateur, and the lights are hotter, the stage is bigger, and the expectations relentless. And then there's the emotional toll. One bad round is hard enough, but doing it with the name Woods on your bag and Tiger at your side, that's another level of pressure most players will never understand. So the question isn't just, can he bounce back? It's, how much weight is he carrying to the first tee tomorrow? Because the crowd will still follow him. The cameras won't look away. But now, it's not about hype, it's about heart. Charlie Woods. Fresh off his AJGA win earlier this season and a clutch playoff birdie to qualify in Coral Springs, Charlie wasn't just a participant, he was the headline. Golf Digest called it the most anticipated junior debut in recent memory. Galleries were packed, social media buzzed, and inside the ropes, a familiar figure cast a long shadow. Tiger Woods' arms crossed, hat low, silent, watching every shot but saying nothing. When Tiger walks inside the ropes, the world stops to watch. But make no mistake, Charlie wasn't just riding his father's legacy. The 15-year-old had earned his spot the hard way, grinding his way through Florida qualifiers, handling post-round interviews like a pro, and showing flashes of brilliance that had even PGA Tour pros raising eyebrows. This wasn't nepotism, this was momentum. Still, the moment was enormous. NBC Sports described it as a pressure cooker disguised as a tee box. The first hole wasn't just a par 4, it was a proving ground. And the look on Charlie's face said it all. Locked in, jaw tight, shoulders pulled back, but something was stirring underneath. You could feel it, this wasn't going to be an ordinary round. As Charlie took that opening swing, the gallery held its breath. But it wasn't the swing that would define the day, it was everything that came after. Because the storm that was brewing, it wasn't in the sky, it was inside Charlie's game. It started on the front 9, and it never really stopped. Charlie Woods stepped onto the first tee with momentum, pedigree, and pressure. What followed was one of the roughest rounds of his young career. By the time the scorecard was signed, the number was brutal. 81, 11 over par, tied for 242nd out of 264. Not just a bad day, a near total collapse. This wasn't just the wrong direction. This was freefall mode. The front 9? A train wreck. 4 double bogeys derailed any shot at rhythm early. Wayward drives off the tee put him in deep rough. Approach shots flew the green. Chips checked up short. Every swing looked like a search for control, and it never quite showed up. Golf Monthly didn't mince words, calling it an uphill task from here before day 2 even started. And when experts start writing you off mid-tournament, you know it's serious. By the turn, Charlie was already 8 over. His body language told the story before the leaderboard did. Yahoo Sports painted the moment. A glance up at Tiger, and then back down again. No fist pumps, no eye contact. Just a teenage golfer unraveling on the biggest stage of his life, with the biggest icon in the game silently watching from 5 yards away. And still, he kept grinding. A couple of birdie looks came and went. One putt finally dropped. But any hope of a comeback was short-lived. Another missed fairway. Another missed green, another long walk with shoulders sagging just a little more. The scoreboard kept climbing, and his confidence kept slipping. By the time he reached the 18th, Charlie looked more like a kid searching for the clubhouse than a future star gunning for match play. The question wasn't, can he win? It became, can he survive this? According to data pulled by NBC Sports and WFAA, Charlie Woods didn't just have a rough day, he put together one of the statistically weakest performances of the entire field. The numbers painted a cold, unforgiving picture. Fairways hit, bottom percentile. He missed more than he found, forcing himself into recovery positions on nearly every hole. The driver, usually one of his strengths, was completely out of sync. When your first shot is failing, everything else becomes damage control. But it wasn't just the driver. The scrambling stats were just as brutal. When Charlie missed greens in regulation, which he did often, he rarely saved par. In fact, his recovery rate was among the lowest in the entire 264-player field. What that means in simple terms? Every mistake snowballed into a bigger one. And there were no escapes. In golf, some rounds feel like puzzles. This one looked like a maze with no exit. Then came the putter, and even there was no rescue. Woods averaged significantly more strokes per green than the field, putting him in the upper tier for missed opportunities. Short putts lipped out. Long ones never had a chance. The result? A mental and mechanical breakdown that no momentum could fix. By the time he walked off the 18th green, Charlie sat plus 11, a staggering 12 shots behind the projected cut line for match play. It wasn't just a tough start, it was a statistical freefall. At this level, you don't get a pass because of your last name, you get judged by your numbers. From top to bottom, this wasn't a round that slipped away, it was a round that never had a grip to begin with. Numbers tell no lies, and Charlie's told a hard truth. Day 2 is over. The final putt dropped, the gallery faded, and the leaderboard didn't lie. Charlie Woods is out. His second round 74 plus 3 was a noticeable improvement, but not enough. Not on this stage, not against this field, and not after the wreckage of round 1. Final tally, plus 14. The match play cut, set at plus 2. 12 shots. a canyon-sized gap that no amount of pedigree, pressure, or surname could bridge. In a tournament of potential, Charlie's story became a cautionary tale. NBC Sports didn't pull punches, one of the highest-profile exits of the week. Not because he was the lowest score, but because he carried the heaviest expectations. The spotlight wasn't earned, it was inherited, and when the game hit back, it did so without mercy. Golf doesn't care who your dad is, only what you post on the card. And Charlie's card told the truth. Over 2 days, 4 double bogeys, dozens of missed fairways, and too many shaky putts. The scorebook doesn't whisper, it doesn't spin. It prints reality in black and white, and right now, reality says this: Charlie Woods wasn't ready. But here's the twist: we've seen him bounce back before. Coral Springs, the playoff, the nerves, the clutch moment. He's done it. But this wasn't Coral Springs. This was louder, sharper, more brutal. This was national television. This was Tiger walking beside you in silence. The challenge now isn't making the cut, it's making peace with failure. Because this moment doesn't end with a handshake or a hug, it ends with questions. Is this the beginning of a breakthrough? Or a much-needed humbling for a teenager learning that greatness doesn't come on a timeline even when your name is Woods? His scorecard is done, but the real test? That's just getting started. His story didn't end this week, it just got real. Day 2. The Texas heat simmered over Trinity Forest Golf Club, but the most intense pressure wasn't coming from the weather, it was radiating from one quiet figure in the gallery: Tiger Woods. Hat pulled low, arms folded, lips pressed in a straight line, the most dominant player in golf history said nothing as his son tried to salvage a tournament slipping through his fingers. No words, no nods, no fist bumps. This wasn't the smiling, mentoring dad we saw at AJGA events or the relaxed presence during Charlie's early junior runs. This was something entirely different. And that difference? You could feel it from the ropes to the fairway. For all of Tiger's trademark intensity, he's always known when to offer a look, a glance, a whisper of encouragement. But not this time. Cameras caught him standing motionless as Charlie lined up putts, wrestled his swing, and trudged forward. The ESPN broadcast noted it, the gallery whispered about it. Even Yahoo Sports called it eerily quiet around the Woods duo. You expect applause or anger, but not silence that deafening. Speculation started to swirl. Was Tiger intentionally letting his son fight this alone? A test? A lesson in grit? Or was this something darker? Disappointment? Frustration? A moment where even Tiger didn't know what to say? Analysts on Golf Channel quietly raised the question, is this pressure starting to break both of them? And maybe it is, because this wasn't just a bad day at a local junior tourney. This was the US Junior Amateur. This was the national stage. And Tiger knew better than anyone what the spotlight could do to a 16-year-old trying to carry a last name with 15 majors behind it. Sometimes,